Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Hello, we're back. We have a lot of questions. This is the BumbleKast. Of course, we have a lot of questions. It's kind of how we roll around here.
And we roll specifically because of all the support we get from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Many Hats is going to start us off on this episode. Why don't the Sonic comics have more modern slang? Sonic could say, "that was tight" in the early 2000s. It would only make Sonic more relatable to today's kids if he and his pals said things like, what the Sigma? Or, "this chili dog is bussin' Ohio style."
Your answer lies in the beginning of the question. Because going back and reading that old slang, half the time, is fascinating from a archaeological standpoint.
Yes.
And cringe the rest of the time.
I mean, yeah.
So I am a little guilty of it myself. Of course, I like older slang anyway, so I'm never hip to begin with. But trying to chase what is popular in slang, especially these days, is a fool's errand. What is...
Oh, sure, says Mr. Big Oof.
I did that in a vacuum, sir. I didn't realize I didn't realize the landmine I had stepped on it until my leg was already gone.
Apparently. I'm still shocked you didn't realize that was a meme.
I'm like, why? He just said big oof. I thought it was funny. Is that a reference to something? What? So,
yeah. Reference to cringe,
that's
bro.
That's another reason I don't do it, is because I am completely out of the loop. I have my strengths. Being in touch with what the youths are into, not one of them.
Now, I can hear Sonic saying, "that's cringe, bro." Do the kids still say that? I don't even know.
I don't know.
But I can hear Sonic saying it. And the Sonic is nothing if not a bunch of adults trying to be cool and hip for kids. That's like his whole purpose in life. Apparently, Leah's in our chat that we have going on during the live show, and she says that, "Ian, if you listen to me, I can help him not sound like a boomer."
But it's in like the title track of Sonic CD, Sonic Boomer. Sonic Boomer.
And you know,
angry that he's getting older. Sonic Boomer. Sonic Boomer.
Rotor's original name was Boomer.
Understand inflation.
All right, Mel has a question. Time for a question from the self-proclaimed president of the Clairvoyance fan club. Given Claire's ESP abilities and her influence by a certain member of Foxhound, could she potentially use her abilities to haunt Mimic from beyond the grave? And if so, how would she go about messing with the man who betrayed her and her teammates?
Serious answer, we haven't seen a lot of ghosts that are actually deceased individuals. Tikal is the exception that proves the rule. Like, all the ghosts that we see are like enemy units and don't seem to be indicative of an individual that has passed on. And Lasso and kind of skate that line, but they aren't also like Sonic characters. They're more Marza products. It gets fuzzy. So in the unfun serious canon answer, no, she probably isn't going to come back as a ghost. But that in the fun answer of how would she do that, she would just always wait until Mimic is just about asleep and then make some small noise to put him on edge. Leave the cabinet open that he's sure that he closed. Untie his boot laces. He's just about to go to sleep and jump scare. Like, nothing overt, nothing that he can pin on, nothing they can say, "Oh, I'm being haunted by a ghost." Just enough to make him think he's going crazy.
All right. And here we got one here from Memphis, Tennessee. Do you subscribe to the idea that Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails are the fun adventure trio who go up against typical enemies, and Sonic, Shadow, and Silver are the high-stakes stuff goes down trio who go up against massive universe-ending threats? What threat would it take to get the SSS trio again?
Yes and no. Yes, in that that's usually how it falls out. No, in that I wouldn't want to put them in those specific boxes. That being said, Sonic and Shadow, and to a lesser extent Silver, do carry with them a greater star power. And because they are the ones that can turn super, they, by default, can face greater challenges than Knuckles and Tails. Yeah, we could give them the super shields again out of Heroes, but I feel like that's such an indignity.
Yeah, no. Make them super. Yeah.
But to see the super hedgehogs again as a trio, I think you need a legitimate threat of that level, because that's a special event. I feel like super itself should be a special event. I purposefully didn't trot out Supersonic during the first arc of IDW because I didn't want to reveal that thing so soon. Super Neo Metal is different. That's an escalation of the villain. That's a new thing for old and new fans, and that was temporary. But an actual, honest to goodness, Supersonic saves the day moment alongside Super Silver we saved for the end of Metal Virus, where everything was absolutely at its worst. I think that's where you need Supersonic, where literally nothing else could save the day.
All right, Morless has a question. We saw a bit of Sage's opinion on Sonic by the end of Frontiers, but what does she think of Amy, Tails, and Knuckles?
I think she's still forming her opinion. She's still getting to know them. She's still studying them, trying to assess exactly what they are, both in Sonic's life and as threats to her father, etc.
Under the microscope.
I mean, her perspective is going to be influenced by Eggman's personal files on them. That's probably her base opinion, but she's going to look at them at a different perspective than he does. And so, in that regard, I believe she's still investigating.
Got this one from Mr. Wahoo! Let's pitch the strongest versions of Mario and Sonic together. On the red corner, Mario-kun, which is like Archie's version of Mario with heavy toon force, was able to destroy the multiverse with a single wish. And in the blue corner, Archie Sonic, who saved the entire multiverse with Chaos Control and so much more. Base to base with items and Chaos Emeralds.
Well, in that case, if Mario-kun can wipe things out with a single wish, then Sonic needs time to power up and do Chaos Control with his materials, I guess Mario-kun would win.
I guess.
Does he have to say the wish out loud, or can he just think it? Because that would... And once you introduce Toon Force, everything kind of goes out the window. Toon Force dilutes any actual power scaling nonsense, because it's whatever you want. And really, that's what this fight comes down to. Which one do you want to win? That's your answer.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, Mr. West Soda 123 has a question. Wes Weasley, Dr. Starline, Bean Sage, Shard, Naga, Sniffly, Heavy King, and Robotnik Jr. all have to share their Robotnik opinions together, sharing detail how the conversation goes and who comes out with a change of mind. Also, Bean and West are totally pals in this situation. Wow, that's okay. That's a lot of characters, but I don't know. Figure it out, Ian.
Well, we've had a limit of 5 for a while now, and even that's a bit much. So we're not going to go too crazy here. But
yeah,
I don't think anybody's opinion is going to be swayed by anybody else, because they have all had their direct experiences with Eggman, and they're very formative experiences. Let's say. I think the bigger question is, how much vinyl siding can Wes Weasley sell to each of their brick houses?
That's really what's important. Also, they each have experience with a different Eggman / Robotnik, so... That's
also true. So there is no common denominator outside of the name.
There's not going to really be a consensus on, any Eggman / Robotnik related opinions. But that could be interesting to have them all together to compare and contrast, share notes. But
I think Wesley would just get distracted by Nagas. Hey there, Pally. You sound like you got a little irritation there. Can you in a lozenge? You got quite the facial mane going on. Can I get you a hair trimmer or two? Perhaps a weed whacker? Be gone, you bother me.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sounds like a little nasal congestion there. Get you a sleep mask. Sleep like a prince. Won't look like one, but hey.
Can only go so far.
Maybe Robotnik Jr. would just want to get adopted into the other family. because at least Sage gets along with her dad.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to this question from Mixer17. Let's assume Mobians and all normal animals coexist for where does meat come from reasons. What's some of the fun that would happen if they found out they secretly had clashing favorites, like Eggman secretly loving hedgehogs, Surge hating herself even more for finding out she loves platypi, Sonic loving sea creatures but hating water, etc.?
Well, Sonic is appreciative of all life forms. It's just, orcas have a beef with him and you don't know why.
They get him confused with a yacht.
I think Surge would be just fine with, an actual platypus. I mean, they're weird little critters and kind of mistakes in nature. And they're venomous. Can they be trained to seek out other certain platypi?
Who are dead.
Ministry said venom. Kind of hard to think of counter things. I could see Tails having a pet bunny and not eating it.
Yeah.
Or a guinea pig or small rodent or other things that a fox would love to eat. He'd be a good pet owner.
Or a bird, unlike in the last episode.
I mean, even if he goes out on a long adventure with Sonic, he's going to have the most amazing automated environment for that pet.
Yeah.
I mean, most people don't live that good. So.
Yeah.
And shoot, Vector's quite happy he adopted that Flicky. I mean, do you imagine how much he saves without having to buy dental floss? He's just sitting there with his mouth open half the day.
It's a good idea. Gets his throat ends up being real sore though afterwards, from all that mouth breathing.
Well, hey there, Pally, have I got a lozenge for you?
Yeah.
Get out of my office.
That's why he sounds like that. All right, question from Onyxodon. How would you design a Chaotix villain? Would it be an intelligent, calculating criminal mastermind like Moriarty? A psychotic, scary serial killer like Batman 2022's Riddler? Or something else? What would be the climactic climax? Or is the whole thing just an elaborate prank by Cream and Charmy?
That's adorable. If the Chaotix got their own ongoing, they need a rogues gallery. They need the criminal mastermind that actually challenges their deductive power. And we kind of already have that with Clutch. You need some reoccurring criminal elements. Maybe they work for Clutch. Maybe they're an independent gang. You've got your standard hooligans in the form of Rough and Tumble that they can bust for jaywalking or stealing candy from babies or carjacking or arson, any of those.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my love for duality and dark doubles. We need our counter Chaotix. We need our big bruiser reptilian. We need our stealthy other reptilian. And we need our angry insectoid that are criminal mercenaries for hire to go against the mercenary for hire detectives.
What are you going to call them? The Orderix?
No, I wanted to recycle the Destructix.
Or the Destructix. Yeah.
And really, if we could just graduate the original hooligans into the modern setting, there you go.
Yeah. I was gonna say
that fills numerous niches at once.
Oh yeah, they'd be perfect. Oh well,
it really would, because you've got Fang as the conniving one to mess with Vector, but their power sets are completely different, so you have a fun mix-up matchup there. You have Bark and Espio as both disciplined and honorable fighters, but again, very different types of combat, so it's a different mix-up there. And the random chaotic energy of Bean and Charmy. It would be so much fun.
Well, this is our life now, Ian. Sucks. That's okay. We got this question here from Peacock Queen. Tell me, how do you imagine a fusion of Sonic and Blaze fighting a fusion of Silver and Amy?
That'd be glorious.
The question is, which one is more overpowered? Because we know they're both outrageously overpowered, but which one is more overpowered?
You don't care at this point. You give it to the right animation team and you just sit back and turn your brain off.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
You've got the Sonic Blaze combo, like literally jet fire flying all over the place, shooting out rings of flame with each spin dash and axle spin, redirecting each jump in air with jets of fire. You never know which way they're going to go. And then you have the Silver Amy combo, who is perpetually using the TK power to pull up every single object and use it as a hammer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then combine all those things into one gigantic hammer. And then pulling you into that hammer and then throwing that hammer at you. It just...
Yes. And then you go flying thousands of feet. Throws the hammer, throws that hammer, recalls the hammer. Oh, it's glorious. Oh, boy. Question from PicklyPack. With the removal of the ages of characters on Sonic Channel a while ago, there are no longer official ages for those characters. But what about the characters not on Sonic Channel? For example, is Mighty still 16? And is the Boom continuity version of Sonic still 15?
Don't know, don't care. Don't want those numbers. Hated those numbers. Glad they're gone.
Yeah.
And Boom Sonic's retired, so it doesn't matter.
Don't stop people from pulling those numbers out when it suits their argument. But, I mean, we both hate math, so any
absolutely
removal of numbers is always a good thing, as far as I'm concerned. And a question from Rabbit Haver. Given that he was created 50 years ago, does Shadow qualify for a senior citizen's discount? Does he get spam mail about needing a colonoscopy? Please be aware that the funniest possible response to either of these would be a #KnowingSmile.
#KnowingSmile is so tired now. I think I've really worn some people thin on that one.
Have you?
But as for the senior aspect, Shadow, what do you think? I won't dignify these with a response. Now, if you'll excuse me, the Sunday buffet opens at 3 p.m.
We got a question from Reckons. Blaze's Isekai adventures continue as the Soul Emeralds whisk her away to the world of Mega Man. Once again, she can't leave until the nebulously defined will of the Soul Emeralds allow her to. How well does she get along with the cast? How fast does Wily get flambéed?
No. Instantly.
I was going to say, probably within the first 5 minutes.
I mean, she gets along with everyone else great. I mean, the world of Mega Man is full of wonderful, loving, excellent people.
And then Wily.
and then there's Wily. Yeah. And, she has a career of beating up troublesome robots. Oh no, troublesome robots. Let's find out what their melting point is.
Yeah, she'll be fine.
She corners Wily and is getting ready to just flambe. I'm going to do what Mega Man should have done years ago. Mega Man teleports and goes, no, you don't kill the old man, please. 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 Blaze, please.
I thought about it myself. I've been where you are.
And Blaze just says, fine, for your sake. But Wily, if you try anything else again, I will return. And boop, her Isekai adventures continue because she just brought peace to the Megaverse.
Oh, man. And she's gone. Well, we're not gone yet, but we got one more question before we take a break. It's from Scurvy Pirate Dog. Continuing on the premise of Amy and Darkseid being best buds, Darkseid arrives to join Amy for some tea, but he notices she's sad. Why? 2 reasons. Amy asked Sonic out on a date, but he said no. And 2, she had asked Shadow if he wanted to hang out with her and Cream, but he declined. So this has made her a little bummed. What does Darkseid do? What happens next?
He will drag the souls from their bodies. Their last moments will be spent in agonizing pain, forever causing the momentary lapse of happiness in his bestie. And I beg your pardon? Don't do that. Let them be. But they spurned you, spit upon your honor, and oh, it's fine.
Oh.
Very well. 1 lump or 2.
2 lumps on each of their heads. All right, we're going to go take our lumps. Then we'll be back with more on the BumbleKast.
I got a gift from the dog from some idiots from when I did the ad read a couple weeks ago. It's a bottle, and the label says, "The Stupid Juice from Episode 5. It's freaking back. The Corked Up White Boys returning season 2 of JCR 1216's Some Idiots. Get ready for some idiot sweep. Make sure to vote in the streamies. Get ready for a new character who isn't totally a trade-off for some of the cast not returning, and that reason definitely isn't tied to a scheduling issue. New Brandon, replacing the old Brandon. It ain't the same Brandon as the old Brandon. And that's not the only guest appearance with planned. Get ready for Michael Woodyshek, a guy Josh started a podcast with but never got anything going after 2 episodes, and prominent Sonic Twitter celebrity Frankie, the eccentric, watch the boys accidentally get high, start a hotline because Josh is lonely, and make fun of the least creative thing in the world, artificial intelligence. See Josh go to therapy and experience a very shocking season finale as there's one more season left, and a freaking movie somehow. Also, for 1 year anniversary, instead of paying $2.99 per month, now you can pay $3 per episode. That's right. Give Josh your money. We promise it isn't going to his console collection. New music? Check. New character? Check. More of that fantastic soundtrack? Heck yeah. Go watch the trailer for season 2 now. Fictional characters that people will fight over to ship? God, I hope not. Waffle Crisp! JCR 1216 is some idiots is rated TP14 for strong language, rape violence, suggestive references, and portrayal of drugs. Bazangu, my fellow gamers.
We're back, and we got a question from Sleepy. What methods of fusion do you like the most? May it be from a story perspective, look of the fusion, or the method of how the fusion is done? And what are some types of fusions you dislike?
I like fusions that require a bit of work to get there. Like, stuff like the Porta earrings are fine, especially since they're supposed to come with that cost of a permanent fusion. So the ease of their use is offset by the extreme of the result. But stuff like the fusion dance out of DBZ or the fusion dances from Steven Universe are just more fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows you to show aspects of the characters that you wouldn't normally get to see or convey them in different ways. You know, the fact that you have to do the fusion dance in DBZ exactly right and it looks goofy. You know, which characters prescribe to that instantly and which ones take it seriously and try to do it right, and the fact that there is a consequence for it going wrong, or how each of the Jim's dances in Steven Universe are very evocative of who they are, not just the fact that they are dancing. Those are all really cool, and personally I like fusions that are just cool looking, things that take traits of the originals and exemplifies them in a way that is balanced but also exemplifies those traits. There's something to be said for like, it was Steven and Amethyst's fusion, I guess, which is very cattywampus, but that's the point, is that they are kind of oddballs and they are insecure with who they are, and that is a physical result of that. And that's fine from a storytelling perspective, but I preferred some of the other ones more because of the symmetry and what they could do. Fusions I don't like. I don't know, nothing immediately springs to mind. Nothing that's like, ew, don't ever do that again. Because even some of the gag options we've had in the past they're funny for a lark, not to be taken too seriously, but I do like the idea of, you know, if you're going to fuse things, what would it actually be like?
Yeah, those lazy fusions are kind of boring ones. Like ones that really don't take advantage of either. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of any specifics. Probably because they're really forgettable and boring.
I will say I like fusions that stand out more than are necessarily true to the original components. Like, I will take Gotenks over Vegetio or Gogeta any day. It just looks cooler. He stands out more.
Mm-hmm. All right, question from Soccer Cut. In the new Mario and Sonic at the Olympics game, they decided to add Tango, Whisper, Lanolin, Jewel, and Surge for one sport event each. Which sports would those characters be in? This makes me sad because we are not getting a Mario and Sonic at the Olympics games this year.
Yeah.
Alternate universe question, I guess.
Tangle gets table tennis, both single and doubles, but it's always just her.
But it's always...
Because if it's doubles, it's her tail.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Whisper's any shooting event. I mean, come on. Lanolin, horseback riding.
Really? Okay. Sure, why not?
I see her in the riding uniform very easily.
Someone get on that.
Jewel, diving. Because then she becomes a diving beetle.
Well, I mean, she is, already very slick and everything. Like, yeah, that makes sense. She's already wearing the cap and everything. She's good. Yeah, all right, makes sense.
And Surge, baton pass, because she gives you an extra jolt when she hands it off.
Baton pass, so she can beat the crap out of you with it.
Kneecap somebody on the fly. She doesn't have to be sportsmanlike. She just has to compete.
Yep. Yes. And a question from Sonic Sword Fighter. During a battle with Eggman, a stray laser blast hits Sonic, causing his lower half to flip around. How would you write a story about Sonic's front rear?
Well, I mean, everyone complained about all the references, but in this situation, I don't know how you get away without a lot of hindsight.
I don't know why this one got me. Why? I read this one when I was putting this show together, and I was giggling for forever. It's like Sonic's front rear. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, this is his life now.
Yeah, the gameplay would by nature have a lot of backtracking, I suppose.
Spoiler 1001 has a question. Somehow, some way, Orbot and Omega get their circuit swapped and let loose on the world. How does it go?
I want to see angry, violent Orbot. He has zero actual potential. He can't do anything.
Yeah.
But he is so angry at the world now. Once he gets his hands on some form of weapon or firearm, you'll be in for it.
Yep.
Any minute now. Just you wait. Ooh, he'll bite your ankles off. And very timid and supplicant Omega is just weird.
That is weird.
He's a kind of a try-hard good boy.
Yeah.
Shadow, may we go destroy robots together? If that is okay with you, you are so cool. Let us do things together.
We are friends, Shadow.
Acknowledge me. Oh, Rouge would abuse that so much.
Oh, she absolutely would. Oh. Oh, no. But also, oh, yes. All right. Question from Steph Cube. We know that Sonic and Tangle have very similar personalities, and when they work together, they have fun while they're on a mission. I personally feel that Tangle is like Sonic, but without the much experience that he has, which makes me think, do you think there's a moment during a mission when they are working together in which Sonic would have to take the role of the more responsible one and tell Tangle to stop playing because they're in a serious situation?
Honestly, I see it the other way around. Like, if things got dire, I think Tangle would be the first to say, let's back up a second. And what little evidence I have to that idea is in Metal Virus, when she was fending off the robots and staving off the infection as best she could. She knew she was going to lose, ultimately, but she was counting on Sonic to be the one to save the day. That's a level of maturity and forethought that I don't think Sonic would necessarily come to first. Yeah. I'm not saying that he can't come to that conclusion himself. He would in some scenarios. But I feel like of the two, she is less experienced, yes. But I think she would be the first to kind of clue in and go, maybe we should stop having fun and maybe hit this guy for realsies.
Yeah, maybe it's time to knuckle down and actually, do what we need to do. No, Sonic is very cocky. Tangle isn't quite as much. She can be, but she knows when to calm down.
It's nuanced.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I could see the scenario playing out where Sonic is the first one to clue in, and it wouldn't necessarily be wrong. So
yeah, it could go either way, honestly. But yeah. I feel like generally Tangle would be the one who's more like, okay, time to be serious for a moment. Just a moment, though, not too long. And Superior Pizza has a question. Loving the Lego Sonic series so far. My only gripe is that their little noses aren't a separate mold, but painted, so it can rub off easily and ruin the minifig. Anyways, Ian, if I approach you with a set, would you reenact the first encounter that Sonic and Shadow had? If the answer is yes, let it be known that I am Lego Shadow and this is not negotiable. Kyle can be Lego Tails.
Tell you what, if you manage to find me at one of the extremely rare occasions where I'm at a show and you bring an entire Lego set of that scene, you can be Lego Shadow. I will not fight you on that, and I will do my best as Lego Sonic.
You can be Lego Shadow. I'll be Lego Tails. I don't care. I like Tails. Tails is a cool boy. He's a good boy. I'll be Tails. Is Tails even in that scene?
No, but
okay, that's cool. I'll just stand there. I'll make Tails stand there. I won't stand there. Think I'm gonna get on my feet? Cyberspace Coco has a question. If you look over all the Sonic media, there's a lot of antagonists for the supporting characters. Tails has the Battle Cuckoos and the Witch Carters. Knuckles has the Dark Legion, Finitivus, Zachary, and Thrash. Shadow has the Black Arms and Eclipse. Silver has Iblis, Ifrit, and the Onyx City Council. And Blaze has Whisker and that gaudy alternate Eggman. But what about Amy? If you were to develop an Amy-specific villain and or rival, what would they be like?
A good rival / enemy exemplifies what is great about the hero and either puts it into contrast as a negative trait or is their antithesis. Like if we look specifically at Sonic and Eggman, Sonic is a small animal. He is very fast. He is all about physical action. He is about freedom of movement and expression and speed. Whereas Eggman is a large human. He's usually in some kind of machine restricted within its space, and he's all about overwhelming mechanical might. He is the oppressive force. It is a manufactured assault versus natural splendor. So what we would have to do with Amy is identify her key traits. What is it about her that is so iconic that makes her specifically Amy? And then look at how do we do the antithesis of that, or how do we do that in a negative way? Again, with the Sonic parallel, you have Metal Sonic, who is extremely fast, who is sleek and cool, who is the mirror image of Sonic in so many ways, but he is also a deadly robot.
Yeah.
So with that regard to Amy, let's go with the antithesis one, because I'm always up for the mirror image, evil, two-faced Janus type of thing. Amy is outgoing and friendly and supportive and loving and is a little quick to temper and has incredible strength that she doesn't always employ. It's usually whenever the situation arises. It's not like Knuckles where it's a constant thing. Also, signature hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a little touch of mysticism now that the fortune cards are kind of coming back into play. So in that regard, we would need someone who's something of a misanthrope. Someone who really does not care for anyone else. Someone who is all about themselves and what they want and what they think they need at the expense of others. Someone who has incredible strength that they flex all the time to show off or to boost themselves up, at least in their own mind. And they need some kind of melee weapon to go toe-to-toe with Amy, because that's just cool. Maybe a battle axe. Maybe a more different hammer. And maybe this character leans more into the occult. Maybe, I know we can't do magic, but we can call it mysticism or something. And is just there to do what she wants at everybody else's expense, and that motivates Amy, because Amy is out to protect and support everyone else.
I'm being told up until the occult bit, you were just describing Jet.
See, I would argue I'm almost kind of getting to Surge territory.
That's what I was thinking more than that. Yeah, I was honestly thinking it was a bit more than Surge, a bit more like Surge. Not completely, but yeah.
Hey, you know what? Make her a Babylon Rogue to a fourth member just to cover all the bases.
Yes.
I'm not saying that's the answer, because we're doing this live on the fly here. I haven't had time to workshop it, but it's a starting point, maybe.
Yep. And we got a question here from the Hobgoblin. Did Fang's gang give up too quickly on trying to find the 8th Chaos Emerald? It seems to me that we still haven't accounted for the gold, orange, pink, indigo, black, or rainbow Chaos Emeralds that we've seen in the games. And according to the story, they didn't know where any Chaos Emeralds were. They traveled around a bit and found no Chaos Emeralds, even though everyone agrees there were 7 out there to find, and it's just a question of whether there were more. Even if they found one of unusual color, who is to say that the emeralds don't just change color sometimes? The only way for them to know if they found the 8th one would be able to account for the location of 7, and then find one more. So how did this inability to find any Chaos Emeralds and get sidetracked with the hard-boiled heavies prove that there weren't more than 7 in the world?
The thing is, you can't prove a negative. There is no 8th emerald, and you can't find it, therefore you cannot prove it doesn't exist. Like, even if you were to find all other 7 and not find an 8th, you could still say, oh, we just still haven't found the 8th one yet. There is no 8th emerald. That's the joke. And
Yes.
all the other ones you mentioned, the gold, orange, and rainbow and such, that was what Fang was referencing when he was saying, I'm looking for the 8th emerald, and I've heard it's gold, or maybe orange, rainbow color. I don't know. And everybody's like, you're an idiot. Because he's going off of vague rumors, which are at most a loving nod to those unofficial or previous inconsistent colors.
Yes.
And it also highlights that Fang is a opportunistic jerk, where he gets a hold of the warp topaz and is like, yeah, I'm done. Drag the other 2 through all of this mess, and then like, yeah, no, I'm done. I found a new thing.
Yeah. He found a better toy. Makes sense to me. Question from the Oddly Roger. How would a team up between Antoine and Whisper go? I'll let you choose which incarnation of Antoine would make for the best riffs.
Let's say something like late pre-reboot Antoine to post-reboot Antoine, because they were within spitting distance of each other. Still kind of goofy, still kind of arrogant, but capable, and over most of their hangups. Most being the qualifying word. And ultimately, it would be a successful mission, because Antoine is the trained soldier. Of course, he knows what to do on the battlefield. You're not the very talkative one, are you? Bon, Antoine will do all the talking for 2 of us. And Whisper's just like, not going to shoot him. That'll make Bunny sad. Not gonna do it.
But I'm real tempted.
And then, they get surrounded in close quarters combat, and Whisper has to break out the hammer version of the variable wisp on. Antoine whips out the sword, and they kick all sorts of ass, and they're awesome.
Yes.
And then Antoine is wondering maybe if he might borrow a wisp to empower his sword. Make this wonderful lightsaber wishing noises. Vroom, vroom. Could he not just cosplay as the Luke Skywalker just a little bit?
He kind of does. Where did they get me? I think it's Antoine making lightsaber noises. That really got me.
And she relents because the Cyan Wisp actually kind of wants to do that, and she's watching him go. And she's very quietly thinking to herself, that is really cool. And now I'm imagining he actually gets the laser wisp in him, and he goes zipping between the refracting crystals, and he's screaming the entire time because it's way too fast.
Oh no.
I'm having the close encounters of the worst kind. No more for me. Merci, but no more for me. I will be keeping my feet on the ground.
Here's a question from Twilord, and it's a question for Kazzy. Why do so many British chippies think it's okay to have so few options for chips? Their superior cousin, Irish chippers, offer options like chili chips, curry chips, garlic cheese chips, chili cheese chips, like any takeaway named after a dish should. Now I'm just hungry.
And I'm offended. I'm incredibly offended by this.
Kazzy, you're here.
The superior chippy is totally incorrect, sir. Totally. Now, chips or fries, as you guys know in the US, this is like the most pinnacle thing for British cuisine. Now, you got no added anything on it. It's just literally chopped potato, fried. They're crispy. Oh, they're perfect. And you just have salt and vinegar on them. Why fix what is already perfect? Why dump a load of crap on there making all sorts of flavors? No need, don't hurt me. But seriously, it's perfect the way it is. But you're assuming that you can't get stuff like that in the UK. Well, sir, you are completely wrong because, yes, you can get garlic mayo fries, you can get cheese fries, you can get curry fries, you can get all of that. So to that, sir, I say you are completely wrong. Don't fix what's already perfect.
I'm just hungry now.
So am I, and it's bedtime, so.
All right, get out of here.
All right. Goodbye, BumbleKast.
So, what do you think of my Cassie impression? Spot on, eh?
Very nice. Very nice. Absolutely perfect. Very good. Very good. All right, question from Vineclad. You wake up and find that Jim Carrey is in your house acting as various characters he's played in the past. What's your initial reaction and how do you handle the situation?
Deeply disturbed, and I get out of there before he lapses into cable.
I was going to say, please don't become the cable guy right now. Please. I mean, even the mask would be preferable.
And it's bad enough he's like singular character, but if he's like lapsing between them as he staggers around the house, this sounds like a horror movie.
Oh. What's funny is him being Robotnik would probably be one of the less destructive and dangerous ones, which is
arguably
frightening to think about. But yeah,
maybe I can get away by saying, "Truman, look, the outside world," and running when he looks away.
Look, that pen is blue. Okay. One last question from Zach D. It's time for another installment of Rough and Tumble Mess with Cream. Cream loves music, so Rough and Tumble decide to introduce her to their music. And soon enough, Cream is now singing about how she's the real Slim Shady and other Eminem songs. How does Vanilla and the rest of the cast react to this development, and how dead are Rough and Tumble? And you can't say Cream is too innocent to sing Eminem. That's a cop-out, and you know it.
Well, she just doesn't know what most of the words mean. And Rough and Tumble are very quick to make it clear they didn't teach her the meanings of the words, just the lyrics.
They just let her listen,
And frankly, everyone's impressed by how good her flow is at such a young age. So Vanilla tolerates it because, she's young, she'll grow out of it.
Mm-hmm.
To her surprise, she goes multi-platinum and, it becomes her career, but that's not here nor there.
Good old Cream and M. All right. That's enough of this nonsense.
Thank you to all the folks who support us with your questions and your donations over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Alrighty then. Jim Carrey is in your house.
All right, I have just enough time to maybe make a bite of dinner before I got to do this thing.
Only one bite.
Yep, just a singular bite.
Just the one bite. Better make it a big one.
Just a second.
What's up?
Cat, I'm going to kill you.
Just now? Man, you fed the cat for a long time.
No. Chews on plastic and then get sick on the plastic that you chews on.
Yeah, but it's fun.
And I'm in the middle of a recording that I'm trying to get done, so I have a little bit of time before the next meeting. So here we go.
Okay. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm talking to you. Sit down.
Is the cat all right? Are you all right?
She's on the bed now looking at me all innocently. What did I do?
All right, ready?
Yep.
All right, jump back in. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. Yazzie is at least here. Yep, there she
Yeah,
is.
I'm here.
Hello.
I'm half asleep, but I'm here.
Hello. Welcome to, 1 a.m.?
20 past midnight?
Midnight? Yeah, 12:30?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was close.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yay.
Kazzy sleepy.
Sleepy. Yeepy.
EP Kazzy.
Yeepy. All right.
Air levels all good and stuff? Or...
Yeah, you sound fine.
Twilord, I'm going to roast you, so be ready for this.
Is he even here today? I don't think he's here today.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
no, he
I
is
see
here.
him.
There he is. Okay, he's here.
Also, sorry to be rude. Hi, Mr. Flynn. How are you?
Hi, Cassie. How are you?
Yes, we're good. We're pottering on.
All right, Cassie time. All right.
Everyone scatter immediately.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and do a pickup for Twilord's question right now.